Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and this week we are back onto the 911 engine. Okay, so following from the last episode on this engine where I broke my little tiny banjo bolt, I've ordered a new one, so that's going to go on. I've also got the new sensor, the oil pressure sensor that it's got to go in here. I've got a new one of them, so it's time to just let's install those and get back to where we left off. All right, I've bolted the banjo bolt in. I didn't break it this time because I put it in the right hole. It makes a big difference. So that's sorted out. I forgot to film it, but I've screwed on the new oil pressure sensor as well. It's a nice new one from Porsche. Wasn't going to even try with the other one that was leaking around in the bottom. And that's nice and tight. Now, one of the things that I discovered on this engine, because I sent it away to Neil and he's thoroughly cleaned the whole engine, I didn't actually realise that what all the holes did. And this hole right here, and there's another one here just behind the harmonic balancer that need plugging, and I didn't realise that. They actually just take Welsh plugs. So I went to Super Cheap and ordered myself in some Welsh plugs. A couple of 22mm were easy. It was a bit more fun trying to order in the 13mm ones that I need for in behind here, and there's a corresponding hole on the back. I needed 2. They came back and said I needed to order 10 because it's it's not a size that they carry. That was fair enough. When it turned up, there were 10 packs of 10, so I got 100 Welsh plugs. 13mm Welsh plugs. They took back the other 9 packets. It's all fine, but yeah, definitely more than I needed. In any case, I need to take this harmonic balancer off and coat these in just a strip of Loctite 574 and tap them in. So I'll tap the one in here. So there's 2 22mm, 2 13mm. Let's fit them now and plug up some of these holes. Okay guys, so as I've alluded to, particularly with this Kluwer Engineering harmonic balancer crank wheel on here, I'm converting this car to EFI. Now, basically, the original car was CIS, continuous injection system. It's some sort of archaic thing in between fuel injection and carbies. But apparently they're very difficult to work on and improve, particularly if you're trying to modify the car. Definitely not trying to go down that route. I want a nice, reliable car that'll start in the cold and just start and drive and be easy to live with day to day. Changing it over to electronic fuel injection means you need a few signals, and I'm a complete noob at all of this fuel injection stuff. So a lot of you, this is probably really basic stuff, but basically what I've got here with this sensor, there's all these notches around the outside of this wheel, and then there's a flat spot, a gap where there isn't some notches. And this here is a Hall sensor, which is I believe basically it sort of reads has a small magnetic field in it, and as a piece of metal comes close to it, and it can sense the magnetic field change, and that signal can then be read by the computer of the car. And when it gets to this bit here, it goes, that point there is a reference point. So every time it hits that reference point, it knows exactly where the crank is in its whole cycle. And that's basically what I've done here. So the issue with using just your crank wheel for your electronic fuel injection is that the crank has to turn around twice, do 2 complete revolutions for every one that the cam does. So basically, the way to think of it is when it goes around and hits top dead center, it'll fire on cylinder 1, and then it goes around the second time and fire on cylinder 4. And cylinder 1 will be also at the top, but it's at the top of its exhaust stroke, not at the top of its compression stroke. So if you've only got this sensor here, and it doesn't know which of the two cycles it's on, so if you only had this and you tried to fire, you stop the car, it rolls, the engine turns over, whatever, it's not exactly where the computer remembers it. All it goes is I'm at top dead center, okay, I'll fire now. You can run what's called wasted spark. Basically what wasted spark is, with this engine, both cylinder 1 and 4 are at the top of their stroke at the same time. It's just this one's at the top of compression, this one's top of exhaust. You can use wasted spark, so it will fire every time it gets to the top of the stroke. So it will fire the spark plug at the top of the compression stroke when one needs it. But at the same time, it'll also be firing the spark plug on cylinder 4, which is at the top of the exhaust stroke. It does nothing, so the spark is wasted. It's just a waste of energy, and you can do it that way, and that's the way it will fire. The issue I've got with this is because it is twin plug, and I'm going to be using a coil on plug system. I'll go into the exact coils I'm using a little bit later, but it would require, running wasted spark on this would require firing 4 individual coils at once, big coils, so it's going to require a lot of energy every time it fires. So that would be quite difficult. So to get around this issue, so the engine knows which stroke it's on, you need to have some sort of cam pickup. And that's where I am actually going to flip this around now, and I'll show you what I've got to do to get a pickup of the cam, because then it will know exactly where the cam is in its cycle, and it will be able to fire the cylinders at the correct timing. So the way we're going to find out what the cam position is we need to add a sensor here. And this is open, this is the end of the cam tower, and that's the back of the cam right there. What I need to do now is actually fit a sensor, and I've actually got the sensor set up from Fluid Engineering as well. And the way it goes on, this sits over the end, it's got some gaskets and stuff comes with it. But what I need to do first, which is a little bit scary, is while the cam is actually in there, I need to actually drill a hole in the cam and put a bolt into the end of the cam. So I've got a drill, and this has actually given me, this is actually just a drilling plug that will help me center my hole. I need to use that to center and drill and tap a hole into the cam while it's in the engine, which is a little bit scary, but let's get in and do that now. All right, I've tapped the hole. I am not going to blow it out. I've got a magnet. I'm going to get a lot of the shavings out with a magnet because it's a hell of a lot safer than blowing metal shavings into the cam journal and making a real mess. So let's get rid of some of these, and then I'll clean it out and see if we can get it nice and tidy. So drilling and tapping the hole was not really too difficult, and I had to go through and make sure that it was between 33 and 33.5 millimeters from the edge of this lip here, which is pretty easy just with my vernier. And I've got it now, it's 33.3, so it's bang in the middle, that's perfect. So now I need to just pull it apart again, Loctite that bolt into the end of the cam, because obviously we don't want it coming out, and then button this all up and seal it up, and then we have our cam sensor on the back of the engine. So now we have our cam sensor mounted to the engine. So one last thing I had to order during the week to button things up, and that is the Sump. Those of you watching last week will have seen that I had an issue that the original sump cover for this engine is quite flat. It's designed for the original oil pump, and as I have a turbo oil pump in mind, it wouldn't fit. So I've got myself an extremely expensive cast turbo oil sump cover with the magnetic plug in it, sump plug in it. So it's now time to just clean this up, chuck this on however it goes, like that, and seal it up, and the engine should be mostly sealed, at least the inside bits. Okay, and finally, I need to fit up my oil cooler. Now, this is the one that actually mounts to the engine, obviously. I have a bunch of new seals that go in to seal it up. I'm just going to give them a little coating of oil, bolt it down. I had this sent away. I had it cleaned and pressure tested, so I know it's good. So I'm going to chuck it back on the engine, and yeah, and then hopefully it's all sealed up. I went to all that effort, and now I realise why I haven't fitted the oil cooler up to now. It's because with this particular yoke, it's a homemade yoke that the engine's standing on, it doesn't fit. So I'm going to have to wait until I get the engine off of the yoke before I can fit this up. So let's move on to something else. All right, I have just spent a very frustrating last hour or so scouring the entire house, the garage, everywhere I can think of, to try and find the metal support bar that sits on the front of the engine. It's wider than the engine. It's a big bar. Like, I don't know where I could have lost it, but I can't find it, which is driving me crazy. But that's what I need sort of to move forward. Or, well, partly this panel sort of sits here on the front of the engine, and this needs to be cleaned up, and then that bar bolts onto these 4 holes here. So I have to find one of those. If anybody locally knows of anyone who has one, that would help. I wouldn't have thrown it away. I just don't know where it is, and it's driving me crazy. Anyway, to move forward on all of this, before I put these parts back on the engine again, all these old sort of sheet metal parts, I think they need just a bit of a cleanup, and then another coat of satin black just to make them nice and neat and tidy, and then we can start bolting them back on the engine. All right, these things I just gave a very quick scuff, a quick cleanup. I'm going to hit them with my black gun. Some of you have asked me about this. Basically, I've got this old spray gun. It is always sitting around the workshop. It has always got paint in it. I don't clean it. I don't do anything with it. It's just basic, like sort of subframe black that I got from Super Cheap. This is what I use for just parts that just need a quick sort of freshen up every now and then. Really handy to have around the workshop. All right, I'm going to give this a quick squirt now, and these should look a little bit shinier than they did before. All right, that was a bit of progress today, and I'm quite happy with how it's coming together. This front plate is on. If only you could find that bar. Oh, so annoying. But anyway, that is all the time I have today after wasting all that time looking for stuff. But I'm going to be continuing moving forward. Next week, I've got the fan, the alternator, all that sort of stuff to fit onto this. And also I need to start looking at my exhaust, because the exhaust I have had some sort of not bad looking extractors on it, but before I actually can fit it, the issue I have is, if you remember back several years ago doing this, I modified the factory exhaust to fit the car. But one thing it doesn't have is it doesn't have heat exchangers. And I want to have a heater in this car, so I need to do something about that. So I might have to custom make some heat exchangers for the car, which might prove interesting. So keep an eye out for that. As always, head down to the description, join us on Patron. You get to watch these videos a day early. It really helps us out. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook, all at Home Built by Jeff. All right, see you guys.